Hi, so I'm Ravi Samlat for Morningstar, and joining me today is Dhaval Kapadia, who heads our investment management division. So today we're gonna discuss about sector funds, which are in the limelight recently. So thanks Dhaval for joining us.
Sure, pleasure is mine.
So Dhaval, FIs are pumping money in the market. So certain sectors obviously are doing well. So first is the healthcare, and then technology sector funds have topped the return charts, over a 1 year period.
Sure.
So what would be your advice to investors who are looking at these kind of returns? Should they be investing, or what is your advice?
Sure. So, just taking a step back before addressing that question directly, I think it's important to understand, what sectoral funds mean. And, vis-a-vis in particular diversified equity funds. So, sectoral funds, as the name suggests, they would be investing in specific sectors. So, essentially, they would derive their performance from investing in those specific sectors, whether it's, like you mentioned a couple of them, whether it's, IT or healthcare, or you have sectoral funds which invest in banking and financial services, and so on and so forth. And this is vis-a-vis diversified equity funds, which would tend to invest across different sectors and obviously stocks. And in those cases as well, the manager tends to take active calls and allocate more to sectors or less to sectors based on their views as such. So that's the difference between sectoral and diversified equity funds. Clearly, because a sectoral fund, the performance of that is driven by a sector. So therefore, as an investor, it's very important to have a strong view on a sector before investing in that, right? So and a view just doesn't mean looking at past performance and making those investments. It essentially means a fundamental view and a view on valuation. So do you expect the sector to grow over a period of time? When I say grow, it means that you expect companies in that sector to show positive growth in earnings and profitability, and in terms of valuations as well, whether that sector looks attractive or no. And the reason valuations are important is because we've seen over periods of time, valuations, or the price that you pay for the value of a security, in this case a sector or a market, is a key driver of the performance that you'll generate over the long term. So therefore, it's important to compare both of these. Another important aspect to keep in mind as an investor also is that sectors go through their up and down cycles. So in other words, they go through boom cycles and bust cycles, so to say. So there will be periods when certain sectors do well vis-a-vis other sectors. And if you go back also in history, maybe over the last 10-15 years, during the previous bull run, which was 2004 to 2008, when obviously we know Indian markets along with global markets did very well, right? The flavor of the market, or the key sector in a way that people were looking up to, was infrastructure. So that sector did very well during that period. But since then, after the 2008 sort of global financial crisis and significant market correction and economic slowdown and so on and so forth, infra hasn't done so well, barring a couple of years such as 2014-17. Now, to your specific point in terms of sectors such as healthcare and IT, obviously they've done pretty well over the last couple of years, healthcare in particular this year as well. But if you go back over the last few years, between 2014 to 17, IT or technology stocks or the sector as a whole underperformed the rest of the market. Similarly, healthcare underperformed from 2016 to 19. So therefore, as an investor, it's very important to keep in mind that sectors will go through these up and down cycles, right? And therefore, just looking at past performance may not always be the best idea. And in fact, we've seen investors in terms of, if you look at flows, it tends to chase performance, right? So it indicates that investors are looking at past returns and then investing in those sectors, thinking that they will continue to do well. But like I said, that may not be the best way to go about playing a sectoral view in that sense.
Thematic funds are also there. So how are thematic funds different from sector funds? Are they less riskier than sector funds? And what option do investors have under thematic investing?
Sure. So thematic essentially means managers pick certain themes that they think will sort of attribute strongly to performance. So for instance, themes would mean investing in stocks of public sector units, or multinational companies, or consumer as a theme as well. So there are multiple such thematic funds, even themes such as contra. They would tend to invest, and the manager believes that that theme will sort of play a major role in driving performance of those stocks. So there are various thematic options available in the marketplace. Now, for instance, if you look at an MNC kind of a theme, or a fund which says that they will invest in multinational companies, and one thinking is that multinational companies, in terms of their stocks, they do command a premium, because people believe that the governance is stronger and so on and so forth. So they do command a premium in relative to other sort of companies or stocks, but that doesn't guarantee outperformance. Now, like sectors which we discussed earlier, themes will also go through their up and down cycles. They will go through phases of underperformance as well. So therefore, it's important to keep that in mind. If you look at, and to your second point, in terms of how would you compare these versus sectoral funds, thematic funds tend to be more broad based in terms of their sectoral positions, right? So if you look at a theme such as PSUs, or public sector funds that invest, which would say they'll invest only in public sector units, right? So obviously, PSUs are present across different sectors, whether it's banking and financial services, energy, and so on and so forth. So you'll have such funds diversify across different sectors. So from that point of view, I would think on a relative basis, the risk, at least vis-a-vis sectoral funds, because of the fact that they are slightly more diversified in terms of sectors, would tend to be sort of lower in that sense. Right. But having said that, I think it's also important as an investor to keep in mind that at times thematic funds are launched as so-called the flavor of the market, so to say. So if the government has launched some initiatives, say to target rural consumption, or to try and target certain sectors, you tend to see funds around those sectors being launched. So therefore, it's important to keep that in mind and not just invest based on what's the flavor of the market. Just one more point before we close out on this question is that at times themes are also slightly too broad based, right? So if you look at consumption as a theme, now consumption as a theme, they could funds could invest across different sectors, right? Whether it's banking, financial, whether it's industrials, and so on and so forth, besides core sectors such as consumer, defensive. So at times there might be an overlap between how a consumer thematic fund invests vis-a-vis a diversified equity fund. So therefore, it's important to keep in mind how the manager has defined the theme, so to say, what are the sectors that they would include, and whether there is a significant overlap versus a diversified equity fund. So that's, I think, important to also keep in mind.
So Dhaval, we have various options like domestic equities, international equities, fixed income funds. So if an investor has a very high conviction on a particular sector, so what kind of what percentage of allocation one can take? Should it be 5-10% of the overall portfolio? What is your suggestion?
Yeah, so I think like I said earlier, it's very important when you're considering sectoral funds. There is definitely there is potential to generate alpha. So there is no doubt about that. If you get the calls right, the important thing is to get those calls right and to have a strong view on the sector. So given the fact, and we spoke of some of the risks earlier, I would think portfolio sizing is very important, right? I mean, it's important not to go overboard on a certain theme, because like I said earlier, themes might or sectors might tend to underperform or go through their up and down cycles. So in terms of portfolio sizing, I would think maybe about anywhere between 5 to 8% to a particular sector, I think should be adequate as part of one's portfolio as such. Because going overboard, the risk is if your call doesn't play out well, right? And if there is a significant underperformance, or there could be a significant drawdown as well, or a correction in that particular sector, and a larger allocation might impact obviously your overall portfolio position and your portfolio performance as such.
So Dhaval, should investors be looking at investing in such funds via SIP or the lump sum route, because timing, the entry is very important in such funds.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important, like we've been talking all through, is that it's important to have a strong view on a sector, and the other factor is that the attractiveness of sectors change over periods of time. So, and these periods could be short term periods as well. If say a sector is done very well over 6-12 month or 1 or 2 years period, the attractiveness would sort of change, post that strong period of outperformance. So therefore, I would think that either lump sum investments or staggering the investments over shorter periods of time. Vis-a-vis typically a lot of investors have, SIPs that run for 5, 10, 15 years and diversified equity funds. But for sectoral funds, I would think that, whether it's an SIP or STP, it should be for shorter periods of time, maybe 6 to 12 months at best, if not a lump sum kind of investment. So that's what I would think would be appropriate. Yeah.
So Dhaval, ESG is gaining popularity right now in India. It's already very popular in developed markets. So ESG is also categorized under thematic investing. So what is ESG, and are there any risks involved in ESG investing? If you could throw some light on this.
Sure. Absolutely. So ESG in India as a theme has been picking up more recently. Like you said, a few funds, mutual fund schemes have also been launched. ESG essentially stands for environmental, social and governance factors. So essentially what this means is that is picking stocks or creating or constructing a portfolio based on these themes, or essentially identifying stocks that rank highly on these ESG kind of parameters. So that's what an ESG kind of theme would mean. Obviously if you split up each of these, whether it's environmental, social and governance, governance as a parameter or as a factor has been identified and being used by fund managers over longer periods of time. So it's not as if it's completely new. Essentially, managers do talk of the importance of the quality of management of a company and of its promoters and so on and so forth, which play an important role in driving how the company will perform and therefore how the stock will perform. So therefore, governance is a factor, has been used for some time, and it is known to be an important driver as such. Along with this, over a period of time, I think people have realized that it's important companies also track or do well on environmental and social factors. In fact, if you look at many governments across the world, including the Indian government, many corporates are now using these factors or parameters to sort of manage their companies and evaluate various projects and so on and so forth. Now, in terms of risks, essentially, because you're picking stocks based, that rank high on these parameters, you could end up losing or you could end up excluding stocks which do not meet those parameters, right? So a classic example could be, a tobacco company and so on and so forth, or, certain types of energy companies which are not focused so much on energy conservation. They are, they are essentially using fossil fuels and probably creating a lot of pollution and so on and so forth. So those might be excluded. But if those companies or stocks tend to perform well, then obviously you will, the portfolio itself might see some, underperformance relative to markets. But having said that, what we are seeing happening, globally as well, is that a lot of large investors, be it pension funds, which are very large investors, or HNIs, other institutional investors, along with generating returns, which is a sort of a key objective when it comes to constructing a portfolio or running a portfolio. They're also viewing sustainable investing as a co-objective or as a second objective, along with generating superior performance. So from that point of view, the view is that over longer periods of time, companies that track well on these ESG parameters would tend to sort of also perform well over longer periods of time.
Thank you so much, Dhaval, for sharing your valuable insights. It was very useful because investors might be looking at such kind of returns in the past and might be lured to invest in sector funds. So our advice would be to consult your financial advisor and treat sector funds very cautiously. This is Ravi for Morningstar. Thanks for watching.